Hey, Jeremy here. In this Blue Ridge behind the scenes video, I'm going to be speaking with my Ruby friend Joshua Paine about a secret development project that he's volunteered to work on. This is a project that I have shared a little bit about, but he doesn't know the details. So this will be our discovery and kickoff call where I show the scope of the project, what I'm imagining it could be, and we talk through scope and implementation possibilities. So he's going to be playing the software developer. I'm going to be playing the client/designer, and then he'll take this project and run with it. I think this is going to be a fun project. I'm pretty excited about it, and here's our conversation.
And we're
Hey,
live.
hey, Joshua.
Hey,
So
all right.
thanks for being willing to, volunteer on this project. Kind of not knowing what I'm thinking about here, what crazy schemes I have, but I this is our first time talking about this, and I wanted to capture your sort of raw reactions and be on the other side of the table. I'm usually on the side of the software developer who's meeting with a client to do a discovery or whatever, or kickoff call. And so I'm hoping to do this the other way, where you're the developer, you are sort of doing the discovery, and I'm the excited client coming with a grand vision for an app that we want to
So,
build.
so you want to inflict on me what's been inflicted on you. This is indie Rails hazing.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Right.
all right.
Yeah, totally. And uh, I I guess the nice thing maybe is that I have a sense of what it is to be on the other side of the table, and so I'm going to share all my harebrained schemes, and then you can ruthlessly cut scope on me and tell me what's in scope, what's out of scope, what's not doable. I'm going to try to avoid being technical on this. So for this project, I really want to uh, be hands off in terms of like the technical side of things, which is hard for me. But I think if I play the client/designer and let you carry forward the technical implementation, I think that would be a fun way to do the project. And hopefully
Okay.
that's agreeable for you as well. Um,
Yep.
cool. So I'll set out the story and I'll do some screen sharing, and then we can get into like what this will look like. So I went to SF Ruby back in November, and prior to that, kind of watching what Evil Martians was doing in terms of their marketing for their conference, and they did this Clouds app that was so cute. They, like after you register, you get sent to this app. You can upload your avatar, and I can't remember if you had to put in your name or what. I can't remember what the screen looked like, but then they generate this AI generated illustration of you, with the Golden Gate Bridge behind you, and they had sort of the theming for SF Ruby, and then you could share out this card. So there, so then you could download this, share it on social, and other people would see it. And I think I even noticed like some people were taking just the headshot and replacing their avatar photos on social media for a while, sort of indicating they were going to SF Ruby, which I thought was really cool. And this was just kind of fun too, to get a who's who of like who's coming to the conference. So you kind of scan through, and so you're like, oh, Ben Kernis is going to be there. That's cool. I know him, or whatever it is. And so I really like this from a marketing perspective, and then also just like as a fun thing that people have as a takeaway from the conference. So I thought it'd be fun to do this, but I have a slightly different take. Oh, here's what mine looked like, which does not exactly look like me, but it's not bad. It's got had this like the
I mean, you,
side.
you lost 15, 20 years, but
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And those, I mentioned like those eyebrows. I wish I had those. I'm pretty jealous, but I kind of had the shirt right and everything. So that was kind of cool. So you could kind of get the picture from that. And yeah, so that was really cool. I've been thinking about this for several weeks now, and have sort of a slightly different vision for this that kind of builds on some of the things here and what I think would be fun to do somewhat differently. So two things for like both calling back to childhood for me. Number one is, did you ever read Richard Scarry books?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Richard Scarry, Busy Town. I think I have this. Where do I have it?
Ashvillager.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay. So Richard Scarry like had these busy, like this concept of Busy Town, and he has all these like cartoon characters, illustrated animals, and you'd see them just around town doing all their jobs. And I love this. I always thought this was great. Like you're always wondering, like as a kid, like what do all these people do? I guess I still think that. Like I'm wondering what everyone does in town, and having their little, their little job description underneath is always really nice. So I thought like, oh, like one thing that, like I loved all the differentiation on these, but one thing that was the same on all of them was the background. Not completely the same, but they all have a real similar look on that. And I think what I would do differently is like I want to see more of the differences between them, and all having like a similar having the clouds in the background and the Golden Gate Bridge makes them end up feeling a lot the same when in aggregate like this. So I liked the idea of what if we did like these like an illustration style similar to this, Richard Scarry style, and then I was thinking, oh, it'd be cool if we called them Ashevillagers. So like you're going to Blue Ridge Ruby in Asheville, North Carolina. What if you like got your you upload your avatar and answer a couple questions, and you get your little your Ashvillager character, so that's like some of the inspiration. The other thing was I was thinking it would be fun. Oh yeah, here's all this stuff for that. There's another thing from childhood I was thinking about, which is this game MASH. I don't know if you know this game. Like you and your friends would sit down and write out MASH, and it was like mansion, apartment, shack, house, and then you would like have five things or four things. Like, yeah, are you going to be in a mansion, apartment, shack, house? What's your job going to be? Like the four options. Who you're going to marry? Your four options. How many kids you're going to have? That kind of thing. And then it's like randomly like, and then you end up like, oh, this is what you're going to be like, and when you grow up. So that would be fun if there was a way to sort of generate out of this like what, based on some prompts, what people's job might be as an Ashvillager. Because I don't want it to be like a whole screen of all computer programmers,
right?
Because that would be really boring. So, like
sit around and stare at Screens Town would not have been as successful a series.
No, it really wouldn't.
Yeah.
And granted, there might be a couple, but I was trying to think like what would I prompt people to sort of get this other thing out of them, and so I have some ideas for that. So that's the inspiration and background for that. Here's where I'm at with using Chat GPT, like OpenAI, for their image thing for generation. These are the assets I'm looking at. So this is taking my avatar photo, and my little question was, what sport would you like to pick up? And so I said mountain biker. And so my prompt is like, make a Richard Scarry. It's not totally Richard Scarry style, but I kind of like the illustration style. Make a Richard Scarry style illustration of a goat mountain biker from Asheville, North Carolina. And it comes out like this. And then I also took another prompt and like take that image and make a profile photo size, like zoom in, just do the headshot for that. So this is kind of like what I ended up with. And I thought these would be like fun cards to share. And then like, this might be something like the big screen of all of them together maybe. And then if people wanted to upload their Ashvillager for their profile photo, they could do that. This one is, if you had a non-tech job in retirement, what would it be? And so this is my cat trail guide. Um, and I'm still working on some of the details about the sharing cards and stuff, but like the general concept, I feel like I'm kind of liking. And I have some ideas about how to generate some of the other things here too, like so that it can all be automated. This one was so from years back, I had this giant goatee, so I wanted to see like what this would look like, and it actually kind of got the buzz and the goatee for this fox who's a tea shop owner. If you owned a shop, what kind of shop would it be? Yeah. I love the bead necklace. I don't know why I did the backpack. I guess it's still like on this Asheville, like, okay, you're an outdoorsy person, plus you own a tea shop, but I kind of love it. And then if you were a professional artist, what type of art would you make? And I said like fiber art. I want to be a fiber artist. And that one used that same old headshot of me.
Yeah.
And it kind of gets it. Like I'm like kind of impressed with it. And so like part of it was like spending some time prompting to try to make sure that I always got the character by themselves, the like not cropped, so I could see the full body on a white background with nothing else around, because it always wants to fill in the scene. But I've been pretty reliably been able to get this prompt to generate it this way, and I haven't done a lot of other test photos, but this is kind of what I'm thinking. Now, I will say I have gotten some cursed, some kind of cursed stuff. I tried to give it I asked it to make a turtle guitar player, and so I got to show you this. I got to show you this one here. Like this guy over here is like so freaky to me. It was like totally cursed. So there are some QA aspects here that I'm concerned about. This one like totally freaks me out. But maybe even that's funny. I don't know. So we might need some way of being like, hey, like stop the presses. This is not good. We don't like this output.
I would love to see a it's an outtakes section on the site too. If somebody flags something as cursed, yes. we goes in the queue and be like, all right, these were the cursed generations.
That would be amazing. I love that. Oh yes, man. Okay, you were supposed to be cutting scope, but that's not on me. That's not on me. I love this idea though. that is fantastic. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's kind of like the output that I'm imagining. And then I was thinking like, what if you put them all on a page together? I wonder if there's like a way we could lay it out so it felt like a Richard Scarry Busy Town, like spread, book spread. And I don't know if this is going to work. So this is where like we don't have to do this, but it would be fun. Wouldn't it be fun if we had like this big spread? And then I was asking ChatGPT to generate other just like kind of like the pages from Richard Scarry are kind of like they don't have a lot of, I guess some of these ones do, but sometimes it's just like a little bit of grass and like there's a fair amount of open space around the characters. And so I was imagining like, what if I just like generated some other assets like that kind of got filled in here, like trees and lampposts and stuff like that. And then it might be difficult to figure out proportions to get this to look right, but it'd be cool if like there was a big spread of everyone that was in attendance and their Ashvillager and kind of like had a townish look to it. Or maybe it's all like a one long horizontal scrolling thing. I don't know. So these are just like kind of wacky ideas, but I like the individual assets themselves, like the sharing social cards, and then like this kind of thing could be interesting too. I don't know. But whatever it is, I like this. I think it's fun and might have multiple uses, let's say. I don't know, like maybe there's a way I could like get these printed or like make a big, I don't know, something out of this. Again, this is like, this is not a have to, but could be interesting. What if, we could do something else with all these characters or something. So that's sort of the end assets. And then in terms of like screens, I'm imagining like it's doesn't have to be like super complicated. Mainly, I think you just come into a page. So after people register on Tito has a webhook service that, looking at their API, I think could work for us, where they send a payload for the person that's filled in the questions. Like when you can you can register for multiple tickets on Tito, but when those get assigned out to people and they fill in their details, there's a webhook that can fire for that action.
Sort of a per guest.
Yeah, exactly. And then what I'm imagining is maybe it sends an email to the person saying, hey, go make your Ashvillager. And it has their email because of the payload. So they click on that, and that's like a magic link into a page where they get to this screen, and maybe it's already pre-filled their name. They upload their profile photo, and we give them randomly three of those questions. What new sport would you pick up? If you had a non-tech job in retirement, what would it be? If you owned a shop, what kind of shop would it be? So they enter those. We hit generate, and then it goes out, and like what I'm imagining is maybe there's a set of animals that we have specifically, and that's part of this prompt, so we say, like, I think everyone loves either cats or dogs. So like most people love one or the other. So maybe, and I don't want to make it all weird animals. Like I would hate it if someone was like, I hate reptiles, and they got all reptiles. So I'm imagining like maybe we give one of them that's an easy one that everyone, it's either a cat or a dog is the first one. And maybe the second one is like, some kind of farm animal. And the third one is like, lots of other types of animals. And so, they get three options out of that, and they just pick the Ashvillager they like. That's kind of what I was imagining. I'm pretty sure with the Clouds app, they generated several cards, if I remember correctly, that you could pick from and say, oh, I like that one the best. So that kind of helps with the cursed thing. So something like that. And then once they pick it, they get the assets that they can download or immediately share. And then that choice goes then on whatever final screen it is. Like if it's a screen like this, I don't know what it's going to look like exactly, but some kind of screen that's similar to the SF, like the main page here, so you can kind of see everybody. And I like having the name too. I'm wondering, I don't know if it's worth doing, but it could be cool. Like, I don't know. It could be cool if people also put in like their URL or social handles too. I don't know. This is where I'm like going back and forth. It could be fun to think of this as like the place that you go to see who else is coming, and you get to see their Ashvillager, but you can also be like, oh, do I follow them on social? I can't remember. And then you like check their socials and like, oh yeah, like this might be a good way to be able to follow people on LinkedIn or Blue Sky or whatever it is. And as well as just sort of like, scan through them and kind of enjoy seeing them. The other thing that I think would be fun here is what you don't get as much out of this is like if you don't know the person, it's hard to guess what their profile photo looks like. So I wonder if like keeping their profile photo that they uploaded would be useful. Like if the card flipped over, or if it like expanded somehow and you saw some other details, maybe it shows like that's kind of what I was thinking here. It would be like, kind of shows you like what the reference was for it. So you're like, oh yeah, it kind of does have that hair thing and the shirt. Oh yeah, that kind of works. Where you might be like, why is that? Why did it come up like that for that person? Anyway, that just some thoughts. Not have tos here, but just like possibilities.
Yeah, but especially since we're making anthropomorphic animals instead of
yes,
cartoon characters of people. Like
exactly.
It's not at all like looking at the reference photo, I can see where it got some of the things, but if I looked at those people, I would never guess that that's Jeremy
true.
Smith.
Yeah, right. Totally. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's a really good point. Yes. yeah, so maybe it's even more. Yeah, I think it is probably more critical that we show that. And yeah, and I think it helps to have having the prompt and having the photo kind of gives you a more of a context for like why this character or why this came up. So okay, I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything. I think that's kind of it. What questions do you have for me?
So you've got these card designs that have, this like rough edge thing, and they've got a
Yeah.
color selected. Were
Yeah.
you picking those manually?
I was,
like
but I had thoughts. I'm trying not to be too technical I'm trying not to get into technical details here, but I have some thoughts on this. I have previously had some success building solutions where like open graph images out of SVGs that include PNG assets inside them. So what I had imagined, and I was trying not to be like prescriptive here, but what I have done previously is have an SVG that loads a PNG inside of it and then has like the vector art for like the brush thing. Could be like just vector objects in the SVG. So that's sort of like that piece in terms of the composite. Color wise, that part is a tricky bit. Like I don't know. It's kind of like, how do you pick a color that's dark enough that white text is going to have enough contrast on, but that isn't a weird color. How do you make sure it's
and it
not
looks good next to the image? And
yeah. So what I often do when I'm pulling colors like this manually is I just like find a good color. What I did is like I pulled the blue off the helmet for this. So like when I'm doing it, I'm thinking, okay, I'm either going to get this red, this blue up here, or this green, maybe one of these browns in here. That's going to be like the color I pick. And like for this one, it was the green off the hat. And this one, it was like just the orange on the fox. So I don't know. This is tricky. It could be like, sampling the image for specific colors that are at a certain darkness that'll work for contrast with white text. That is also not grayish, not in a like, so that we know it has some vibrancy to it. And I don't know how to do that algorithm, but I'm wondering if that's possible.
Gotcha. Yeah. I don't know how much I like talking about the how might use, but I'm not sure how productive that is for this meeting.
Yeah.
So,
I've also been able to do that with like custom fonts, like that solution with loading these, like this text. I was trying to find something that felt like this is kind of a different font here. It's definitely the older one.
Yeah,
I was trying to find like a bookish, slightly old-fashioned bookish looking font for those. And so this is kind of where I was. It's a Google font, so I think, and I haven't like done an exhaustive decision making on font selection at this point, but I think I have been able to pull in, other fonts into doing this like SVG rendered out to PNG solution before. But it is multi-step. It would be like hitting the API to generate the original characters, and then pulling them in, compositing them, and then like generating, maybe multiple cards or something out of that. But that's kind of what I'm thinking there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what I think we would want to store the original generations and things anyway, so that you can remix these in different ways.
Yeah, totally. I've also noticed that sometimes when I prompt, put it on a white background, it'll be slightly off-white, which might not look great if you're on a white card. So that might be tricky, just like this one is, I think. But so that's another kind of piece to figure out.
Okay, good call out. So pieces here. The workflow for getting from a guest has registered to, they can now, go create one of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, feels like smaller questions around that. For one thing, I see we're using, you've got Jeremy Smith written on there some places, but you've
Yep.
also got, just Jeremy.
Yeah.
So
That's probably
I
true.
think
Yeah.
I would probably want the, like, if we want to display both those things, which we probably do, because
Yeah.
you need the short name for, Jeremy, the
Right.
mountain biker or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not always obvious from people's names what part should be pulled out as their
Right. Well, actually, the webhook payload includes both full name and first name, first and last name. So we can trust that Tito will send us both of those, that it's already done that.
Okay. I think we probably still want to let people tweak them if they, because what you would register as might be different than what you want plastered on your social.
I had thought about that at one point. Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree. And it might be that it just pre-populates and then you can change it. So you could say, like, what's your, like your giving first name, or what do people call you, and then what's your full name? I don't know. It could also be, yeah, it's tough. Like, I was thinking on a page like this, I kind of liked just having first names and not, like, it just felt more familiar, and I kind of like that. But then it does make sense to me that on your sharing, I don't know, maybe it's not. Like, if you're sharing from your own profile, maybe it doesn't need to have last name. Maybe it's okay to just leave that off. I think I'm flexible on that.
We play with it a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's see. So were you imagine you've got 3 questions up there, and we were talking about multiple animals. Are you thinking of generating several options and then they get to pick one based on that?
Right. Okay. Exactly. So it might be that even just imagine that this one was off and maybe they had the 3. Can't do that. Nope. Can't do that. Frames. Like, it was moving fast this morning. So it might be that, after the prompts, it comes back and says, okay, here's your characters, like, here's Jeremy, the goat mountain biker, and Jeremy, the cat trail. Who do you want to pick? And then you picked, you decide on one. And maybe this is the place where you also say, oh, like, that turtle was cursed. And so it, like, maybe it alerts us. Oh, that's another thing. I think I was looking at the Clouds app. They do a NSFW or NS not safe for they do not safe for work like pass through the image output to make sure that it's okay, which we could potentially do at 2 places. One would be like at the job that gets generated. Like, is this an okay job to, like, generate an animal character for?
Right. Yeah, we don't necessarily want Richard Scarry's, like, strippers or something.
Exactly.
Richard Scarry's busy brothel. Yeah.
Oh no. Oh man. Okay. Yes, exactly. We definitely don't want that. Yeah, so that would be easier to do, certainly on the text, but maybe a second pass on the character as well. I don't know. But also, just like, since it's at this screen where they're still doing selection, if we're giving them the option to say, okay, I want the goat, that's going to be mine. But if they saw something else that came up that was either not appropriate or, I don't know, I think I am a little bit nervous about, like, what if they got something and they were like, I'm so offended by this. So I'm not terribly worried, but I would hate for that to happen. I want it to be fun. So giving them at least a way to flag it or email us or something, I want them to be able to do that, so they're not like, what? This thing gave me, this terrible thing, and I just have to, like, deal with that myself. So I want them to feel like they've got some answer if they've, some recourse if they got something they really was not good. I like the cursed idea. I think that's kind of fun, but it also could also be like, email us if you got something you really didn't like out of this, and we'll apologize profusely and fix that for you or whatever. And it could also be that if they got 3 things that they really hated, maybe they maybe we give them the option to regenerate. I think the Clouds app gave you the option to regenerate, but then we're also the other aspect of this is like costs. Like I don't know what costs will look like on this, so like how to just mitigate endless regenerations on this.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I think you could certainly do it. You let them throw it all out once and then be like, man, sorry, this isn't working for you.
Yeah.
And just,
yeah. I think that's probably good. Yeah. One chance to retry them. Yeah. I like that. Even that could be like it's a nice to have, not essential.
Right. Because we're presumably not going to force anybody to, like, they don't have to put it on their profile. We don't have to, if they just say, yeah, I don't really like any of these, we don't have to put it in the,
right. We don't put it in the
village
mix.
either.
Yeah. They stay off the page. Yeah. If at this point they don't pick, then they're not exposed in any way. And I can work on the text that will explain that. Like once you make your selection, you'll have, here are the things you'll get. And then here's where you'll show up on the, what page or what it'll look like.
All right. So that's kind of they're going to get we're going to get a webhook. We're going to send them an email that says, hey, come create your Ashvillager. They can go through something like this and, we're gonna, generate some options, and they'll pick one, and then we'll produce probably several different assets.
Yeah.
Out of that, at that point they're gonna we've now sort of selected. Okay, this is the image. This is this is all the details that this person it's associated with this guest, and these are the details that they submitted that created it. And this is the generated couple of images. Because the crop was one that you were doing.
It was like a second pass.
The AI was doing that.
Yeah. I just had it take that image and then said like, do a close up on just the head. Try to keep the ears and hair inside, any hats like inside the frame, and then it just did it. Like it re-rendered just that, and it's been really consistent with the output, like almost identical. So I've been impressed by that. It's cropped a little bit, but I think it's close enough that
it's a good crop. Yeah. It's the you want it a little bit crowded like that, but not cutting off too much.
Yeah. And that, even that second pass could wait until selection, potentially.
Right. I mean, just from a cost perspective, I think you might as well wait for it. And if somebody likes the image but they don't like the crop, they can always do their own crop of the.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Okay. So that all makes sense. The thing that feels less defined so far is what's the homepage of this thing look like, where we see the Ashevillagers. We had a couple of ideas involving landscapes and things, but
I need to spend some more time on that if you don't mind. I do think most likely it makes sense to do it like this. Where it's a bunch of it's the 4x cards or something like that, and it's just like scroll through. I think unless I think that's probably going to be best, because even doing like this is more complicated. There's more assets to generate, getting the proportions right on this, and then coming up with a free scrolling or zooming page for this. While I think that's cool, it will make discovery a bit harder. It's certainly not as easy as scrolling, just a long grid. So in terms of like discovery of who's coming, this will be easier. Although for that, I probably need to rework the look of this, if it's the grid look, so that you can more easily identify people. I would probably want to add, after talking more with you about it, I probably want to add the original avatar with it, with their name. And
Yeah.
if we do have anything else like social media, so we see their Ashvillager, we see their name and profile photo normally, so you can sort of identify either way. And then sort of some of those extra details. Maybe they come up in a modal, maybe they are an expand. I can work on that. But
Or a
probably
flip or whatever. Yeah.
yeah. I kind of like that flip card concept. That seemed kind of cool. So I can work on that. But I think the grid is probably the better thing to do. While something like this would be really interesting, I think that feels like probably too much at this point. I think, and not the easiest, not the best experience for trying to quickly figure out who's going to be at the conference. But could be fun in some other way. I don't know, maybe later down the road, there's something we could do like this.
Yeah, and I asked you about this offline, but conveniently I also forgot the answer. So when are we trying to have this
Yeah.
launched?
Okay. Really, any time is fine as long as it's before the conference. But what seems ideal to me would be sort of the first or second week of March, if it's doable. I think that would be sort of catching the biggest wave of attendees like registering for tickets. Because what would be nice is, we've already sold some tickets, but we'll start to get a real big bump after we do our talk selection and then sort of announce speakers here in the next, let's see, in a week or week and a half, somewhere in there, we'll be announcing speakers. So we should start seeing ticket sales kind of bump up after that, but people will still be buying. A big wave of tickets will, happen probably in March for the conference at the end of April. So ideally, we'd be right ahead of that wave, and I'd probably rather cut scope to be ahead of that than get everything and sort of miss that, and then have to send emails later. Because I think it would be a nice experience to register and get that email right away, rather than like a few weeks later. I don't mind doing that, and we have enough people that have already registered that we can send these out to, and I think it'll be fun. But it would be nice to have everything rolling before we get the biggest wave of ticket sales, and that's kind of what I'm targeting, if that works. But again, this is no major pressure here.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna, always, I feel like if I'm gonna do something at all, like let's do it in the way that it's most valuable, right?
Yeah.
And so there definitely is advantage to having this launched sooner.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, as as we've discussed, like I have a day job, I have 4 kids, like I would like to try to figure out what's the minimum lovable product here.
Mm-hmm.
And ship that as soon as possible, and then if we have time, if people, and then add more features. You can always go back to people that already generated their avatars and say, hey, we've got 4 more cards for you now if you like any of these.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's no problem with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, right. And just again, because earlier is better anyway. And also, who knows, maybe my life blows up and I don't have time to work on it in the last 2 weeks of whatever. So
Sure.
it's better to have something shipped.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not, I think sort of the minimum version is, generate the things, let them choose, and have some, have a couple presentations of the cards, whatever those look like, and have the big, the big scrolling list of cards, and I do kind of feel like we can come up with something better than the big scrolling list of cards
Yeah.
because I don't know. I look at the clouds one and
Hmm.
it's like it's cute, but also it's I don't know. It's missing something
There's a
for me from
regularity to
the
all the pictures that makes it hard to focus on the details, I think. Um, which probably would have been hard to guess prior beforehand because you're really thinking about the individual card itself. So I think you're right. I don't necessarily have a better. I do like this concept, but I feel like it expands scope. It brings along a host of other problems to solve, and doesn't make
yeah.
necessarily the easiest experience. Although it might be more immersive or fun, but it's not. It's not. It like loses some utility in terms of like who's going and why can't I find the person in the list. I've already actually been through this a few times where I'm like, where am I was in here, I can't find me. So even that.
Right. It looks like is it just in date order?
Oh yeah, yeah, I guess it is. That's kind of nice.
I mean, yeah, sort of. It also means that the I think it would have been good for refreshing as you're approaching the conference to see like who's joining, but now it means essentially that people who registered early are
Yeah.
sort of penalized. Like you have to
Yeah,
scroll way down to see people who
that's true.
uh
That's interesting.
um yeah, the yeah, the other challenge with or another challenge with trying to do an actual busy town
Hmm.
page or something is that it's not at all obvious how you translate that to a phone.
Oh yeah. Oh my
Whereas,
gosh.
the card list is easy to
Yeah.
just, do one or two across.
Totally. Yeah.
The and as Busy Town was, I don't think they ever had, 200 characters on a page.
No. Yeah. No.
Um,
That would be
and
massive.
that's the level that because, hopefully that's the level that we're looking at
Yeah.
here, right? Your maximum capacity is a little over 200.
Yeah. Uh huh. 207.
Um,
Yeah.
and presumably not absolutely everyone will make one of these. Somebody's going to be
No.
like, I don't
Yeah.
want my Richard
For sure.
Scary persona on the internet.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Sadly, that's true.
the, the
Did you ever see that XKCD where he did like this really expansive board? Like it was humongous, and I think he had like it was almost like a Google Maps kind of like scroll and zoom thing. I keep thinking of something like that, where
yeah,
you're like
there
you get
he's
dropped
done a
in.
few just massive ones,
Yeah,
but
those are those are so cool. That would be super fun, but like that would almost have to be manual. It'd have to like get it to lay out right. It would be a beautiful artwork, I think, but definitely not something I could probably do this year. It might be fun to try it like in a future year. Um, I don't know.
yeah, I've done very little with AI image generation,
Hmm.
where by very little I mean like I've asked ChatGPT for a couple of drawings, but that's it.
Yeah, yeah,
The I wonder how far it could go. Could you get it to generate just a town square
hmm,
kind of canvas that was real big, and
yeah,
then somebody go and like mark up places on there where we can drop characters.
right,
Um, and then you just sort of like stick them in there, right? The this is definitely a stretch goal.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
for
Yeah. I was getting some like I've gotten really consistent results in terms of illustration style so far with the animal characters. With some of the objects, it started to I brought in the ones that were the best, but even this one starts to get a different style than like this tree for some reason. There's something different about it than like the tree and
right,
the lamppost. So like style wise, and then also proportions got like if I just use the regular size that I think Chat GPT or whatever the I don't even know the model that generates the images. It has like 3 main sizes that it spits out, like a 1x1 and then a horizontal and vertical oriented.
Yeah.
And they're just these standard sizes. And I don't like, even then, I would be surprised. Maybe you can stitch a scene together, but it might be hard to get everything packed into one image. And even then, like trying to get them so that they fit the perspective of the scene might be difficult without manual intervention.
Yeah. I think where I would go in trying to do that is ask it to like generate in landscape, the whole scene without characters, but like with places for them, and then cut that into pieces and ask it to expand them.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like I said, probably have a human markup where we can put characters, but the sort of perspective in Busy Town is this, like there's a little characters in the background are somewhat smaller than characters in the foreground, but not a lot.
Right. It's very simplified. Yeah.
So I think you might be able to fake it in a way that would be not convincing as like a human definitely went and illustrated this,
right.
Or even plausibly,
yeah.
But where it did kind of look like the characters in the town.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, definitely stretch goal.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So do you do you use any kind of work tracking thing that you want to use with this project?
I usually use GitHub. What I was imagining, if you were open to it, is we have a Blue Ridge GitHub organization, and if you're open to it, we could put the repo there, and you could be the owner, and we could use issue management, issue tracking there, if that worked. But I'm open to other things too. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so I do think this, there's going to be a fair bit of like, let's, we'll see how this goes, but definitely interested in getting, like the minimum lovable version out. Like we want it to be fun, not like, not just we have proved that you can generate images or something, but
right.
Yeah, and you said you're doing SVG to PNG rendering. What have you used for that in the past?
Let's see. I did this with.
I mean, this is a very particular implementation detail. So
yeah. No, I can send you what I've done. What was that? OG image. What did I call it? So I did this with. SVG inline. How did I do that? Oh, that was for that.
Yeah, I mean
I'll probably have
that seems like just.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I created an SVG ERB file, and then what did I use to generate that?
Well, that part that seems fine. Like I've done a lot of mangling SVG files. I'm pretty comfortable.
Yeah,
messing around.
Kind of amazing what you can do. Create sample file image. Okay, create a temp file.
Okay, it looks like just doing it with zips.
Use VIPs, yeah. So use the source SVG. Yeah, convert to PNG, and that was called from a background job.
Nice.
And then this one brought in code samples, and I used Rouge for syntax highlighting, and so it would do that right within plus a logo image that was in the SVG as well. So yeah, I think that could all work, and I can definitely provide the all the necessary art assets for something like this. The brush stroke, vector art and that kind of stuff.
Right. Well, I mean, you're gonna let me into this Figma too, right? And
yes, yeah, definitely.
Take things out of it if it's.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. Yeah.
And I won't replace all your fonts. Um,
Thanks. Yeah, it would be okay in this case. There's not a ton here. There's only like one main font, and even that one I'm like kind of flexible on. So, um, yeah,
are you using Gemini for generating the images on this, or is which
it is. I've just been doing it in Chat GPT. So I wonder what the Gemini's
okay,
Google, right?
Google's thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it's
I tried Gemini, and the illustrations were no good. I did not like them for whatever reason. Yeah, this was much better for the illustration style. Um, I wonder if there's a way I can like share my plan with you or something, or maybe just give you my API token or something. Maybe that's the thing to do.
yeah,
Yeah.
that should work.
Okay. Cool. Um, and I can give you the prompts that I've been using. They haven't been highly specific, but it's like I'll have to say like, don't make sure this is on a white background. Make sure I can see the full character. Don't put any it always wants to put text on it. Like I was like, because I was saying like it's
Yeah,
from Asheville, so I kept putting Asheville everywhere. I'm like, don't do that.
right.
Yeah. And then in terms of like deployment, we'll cover deployment costs wherever we go. If you have a preferred option, I've been toying with Railway and have kind of liked it. If you're interested in trying with Railway, but I've also done tons of Heroku and stuff. It
Sure.
might be nice to use something that was a pass, just for simplicity on the management side.
Yeah, looking at is that just railway.com?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. I
Hmm.
had a little bit of challenge getting started with it, but I figured it out. Like I figured out how to I've got a Rails app with SQLite backend deployed there, that I was pretty happy with the setup on. So if we ever need to like pair on something like that, or if you have a preferred one, that's also cool.
Yeah, I mean at work we're using Heroku and
Yeah.
paying the enormous
Yeah,
Heroku tax.
I'm still I've
And
still got a high Heroku build, and I'm like planning to migrate my stuff over to Railway just to cut some costs. Yeah, I've always loved Heroku, the experience. Railway feels like a closer second to me than other things I've tried.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, all right. So I mean, is there anything else you wanted to get from me on this call?
No, I think we're good. Yeah. Yeah. Just thanks for being willing to go on this ride. I'm excited for
Yeah.
what it could look like, and yeah, really appreciate your time. I know this is like an endeavor, so whatever it looks like, I'm thankful. Yeah, and I'll get everything set up on like the GitHub repo, and then we can get cracking on communications that way too. So, and if we need to do more, calls together, or whatever, totally open
Oh,
to it.
right. That was the other thing I was going to ask is when do we want to like we can do it offline, but we probably want to plan a next check-in or something.
Sure. Um,
Um,
I'm really flexible. What makes sense for you? And if you want to tell me
yeah, I
later, that's totally
mean,
fine.
yeah, I mean, probably in like a week or so, but we can
Yeah,
also, communicate offline here.
sure.
So,
Yeah, that might be nice. We're doing talk reviews right now, until like we'll probably be done in a week and a half. Hopefully not too much more than that. So I'm super busy with that, and then announcing speakers. As soon as that's done, that's a big project off the plate, and so I'd
yeah.
have that might be good timing that way.
All right,
Cool.
cool.
All right.
Well,
Well, thanks,
nice
Joshua.
to. This is definitely the longest conversation we've had. We've met a few
I
times at
know.
conferences and
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it's not.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
nice to hang out. Nice to go just like dive into a project with somebody, and yeah, that's really fun. So thanks.
Yeah, likewise. I don't get to do a lot of just things for fun.
Yeah,
So,
I hear you. I hear you. Well, cool.
all right.
Let me know if you need anything, and I'll catch you soon then.
Okay. See ya.
Thanks.